Good morning. Welcome to Winnipeg. Now, we've got another big long rollback again. I came back again to the model table last night for, I'm guessing, 2 hours. Had record pressed a lot. Had record pressed too much. Yeah, we are so close to being done step 17 already. And in other words, we are so close to being done this forward torpedo module. I'm sort of held up at the moment because I'm hoping to be able to get some extra thin winding wire. I want to try it. It could be that this wire that we got in the last episode is going to be what we're going to end up using, but on the other hand, I've got some really, really fine stuff coming. It'll probably be here tonight, and in which case we'll be looking at it tomorrow. And I don't want to go ahead and wire up, how many LEDs do we need now? 7 or 8 for this module. I don't want to wire up the rest of them with the heavier wire that over there. This stuff here, what is it, 28 gauge? I've got some 38 gauge coming, and it's pretty fine stuff. In fact, the spool is about the same size as that, but it is so fine that there's a mile of it, or there's over a mile of it on the spool. So I'm kind of worried. I'm thinking, my goodness, this is, I've dealt with really fine wire like that before, that I've got out of things like earbuds and stuff like that. So I'm kind of used to working with it, but I don't actually remember soldering it. That's going to be kind of interesting. But it should solder okay. But the tensile strength that's what worries me. I'll sort of check out. It could be that what's going to happen is I'm going to have an LED all wired up and all in place and everything. And then as I'm working with it and trying to string the wire invisibly out of sight in behind somewhere, I'm going to break it. whereas that wire, there's a bit of tensile strength to it. Not as strong as a fishing line or something like that, but it's going to be fairly strong. Anyway, offhand, I'd say we are not going to have a pretty sunrise again this morning. Offhand. Okay, what else did I want to mention this morning? Oh, I remember. This is the fenders for the bike. Actually, these are complete fenders. We'll take a look at them later, maybe. What I want to do is I want to use them as fender extensions. Like, my bike already has fenders, but they're more of a looks thing. They don't go over the back wheel far enough so that it doesn't throw water up your back when you're going through a puddle. So the idea of this is, we'll talk about it when I do it. I can't think of anything else here. I'm really pleased with the progress we're making. As I mentioned, we're almost done. The front section, torpedo section. In fact, I think that if we want to do anything later today, we're going to have to start on what is called the front soldier's living room, which is the next module back. It goes back here. That's the next one we start on. It's going to have a few little interesting parts that may cause problems. There's going to be a lot of brush painting involved, and undoubtedly some spraying, maybe. But that may not be today. Today's episode with just the rollback is going to be plenty long enough. As I mentioned before, I like to keep these episodes down to about 20 minutes or so. And today's rollback, I believe, is over 20 minutes. So you know what? Instead of flapping my lips here, why don't we roll back? Okay, continuing right along here this evening. This is that little plastic thing I was talking about. It's not in very good shape anymore, but it used to work something like this. I don't know if it can be clamped down in the right spot or not. Now, the idea is, of course, when you drill into something, this is supposed to stop it. And it might not be a very good idea to possibly be using this in a hole. I might accidentally ream it out too much. But I think if I do a lot of testing, we should be okay here. We'll just recompose a bit. I think I know what's happening. The top and the bottom of the hole is enlarging, but the center is not. It would be so nice if I could have used that reamer, but it just comes out in the wrong place here. And the drill bit next size up is way too big. This thing would just fall right through. Oh, we're getting there. Okay, that's about it for that one. Now, we did mark the top here. But as I mentioned in the last episode, we're going to have to do some repainting anyway, so. Alright, now this one had the same problem, didn't it? Just double check here and make sure. Yeah. Okay. Could I use the reamer on this one? No. That's about it. Okay, well, the other ones, they're all okay as far as I can remember. I'll just check here. Now, over here, just let me move this back a bit. If you remember on the front here, we drilled a hole and found out that because this piece was going to go in it, that, yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-drill the hole, and maybe I'll put it just maybe 3 millimeters in behind. I don't think it's going to hit anything. I'll keep it the same distance this way, but I'll move it over 3 millimeters this way. So I'm just going to maybe quickly do that off camera. That means I'll probably video it. Okay, now I'm just sort of eyeballing this here. I don't want this thing to slip into that existing hole. So I think probably about here. All right. Now I think I'm going to close this up. I think it was yesterday or day before when I used these things, I left it open and I poked myself. I think probably some of you might have seen that and thought, I wonder if Ron poked himself. Well, Ron did. didn't cut myself though, but I could have. All right, now this thing does not have a reverse. Well, try it again. Now, have we gone over enough? Oh my. Okay, let's just try one of these here. Not quite. It caught on something, but I don't know what. Oh, that is just almost too big. But that'll do it. Now let's see if we can get this to go on. Is it going to go on? Yeah, it probably will, but these leads have to be bent over. Oh, don't drop it in there. Well, I wonder how would it be if I was to bend the leads over at a right angle. They're not really designed to bend over this way. They're designed to bend the other way. Well, you know, if we ruin one, we ruin it. I've got 100 of them. I suppose I could have used Andy's photo etch bender for this. Okay, now the wires will go out the back, out of sight. Now, was this going to fit? Yes, it will. Okay, that goes there, and this goes here. Yeah, it's going to work. All right. I'll just have to remember, though, to... Okay, I don't think we can put this LED in after this is in place, though. I think it's going to... I'm just going to have to fiddle with this off camera here. Okay, I concluded that, yes, I can get an LED that has the leads bent over in that hole that we just drilled out. Now, I want to see how we're going to be able to do here. I can't see the holes. I wonder if the holes need to be enlarged a little bit here. Okay, that should work. Yeah, that should work. Okay, there, it's in. Yeah, those LEDs would just miss it. Okay, let's go ahead now and glue that tank in place. Now I'm just sort of debating, should I put a bead of glue along the bottom here somehow, or just maybe just right here and here, and be careful not to break it off. Let's try that, and if we break it off, then we'll do it differently next time. So, put my other eyes on here. And we'll soften the hole. This is not the quick setting. This is the slow stuff. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking, okay, so this is going to, if I put it on, which side would be the best? Okay, I think this way. Well, you're viewing it from the way you're going to be seeing it, so maybe if I was to very, very carefully just put a little bit along the far side of what we're going to be seeing. This might turn out to be a disaster. Okay. I'm just trying to get that glue to meld down, and I think that's about it. Just come in and look at it about from this side. No, it's not. Why am I not getting it in those holes? There we go. That's one. I heard it go in. And this one's in. I can feel it. It's sort of locked in place there. Okay. It's down now. Let's just let that dry. I don't think that doesn't mean we can't put this one in while this is drying. So this one's going to have to go right here. Let me just sort of recompose a little bit here. Okay, we're just going to do a dry run here because, as you can see, we've got an LED that has to go right in between these two tanks. So when I get this one in place, I'm trying to hunker myself down here so I can see. Maybe if I did it like this, I'll try it like this. No, I can't get my fingers in. Why couldn't I do it the other way? Should have been able to. Maybe I didn't have it at the right angle. Let's try it like that. It doesn't really drop into place, does it? I'm going to turn the camera off, sorry. Okay, it's not glued in place, but the pegs are in the holes. And if I shove it over as far as I can that way, then we can just barely get the LED in there. But I've had, well, I did have it before. But I'm wondering if maybe I kind of made a mistake in putting this on, because if we can bend the leads over on the LED so that it would fit this hole, you know, down here, then maybe the tanks should have gone on afterwards, after I ran the leads flat against the top of the superstructure here, the overhead superstructure, or bulkhead rather. I don't know. These LEDs are causing me a lot of, you might say, headaches. Okay, if this LED was bent over like that and put in, no, I don't want to poke it in too hard, but I'm wondering, could we maybe have made a little bit of a notch right here, right where the prongs are coming up, and just got everything to fit? I'm just sort of, you know, I'm questioning out loud. I know it'll fit if I put them in this other hole right there. We can get it to fit that way, and maybe that's what we'll do. And there's a hole right here. We can get it in that one. We can get it in this one. We can get it in this one here. But as far as where this one goes, maybe if this tank is as far over to that direction as we can get it. Let's see if I can let me recompose here again. Oh, for goodness sakes. No, I don't know why I'm letting myself get upset here. But you know, sometimes I wonder, why is it that something that is so simple can suddenly get complicated? And, well, the good news is that just a minute ago, my bike fenders got delivered. So now what I've done is, yeah, may as well just laugh. May as well laugh. Now he's getting upset. Okay, so my bike fenders got delivered, so that's the good news. Now, oh, Ron, I must be getting tired or something. I just can't hang on to this thing. I'm not deliberately doing this, folks. Okay, now I'm squeezing harder this time. What I was going to say is I've glued the tank down, and I've sort of rocked it over maybe a millimeter in that direction. So the hole is a little bit easier to get into, I think. Now, this is the first time I'm trying it. So, yeah, that's going to work. That's going to work. And then we can run our wires back maybe along the bottom of this larger tank. Yeah, we'll think of something. Okay, you know, I think we're probably safe to take this out now. The reason we'd had it in there before is because this top part wasn't being supported by anything and it could rock back and forth, whereas right now it's quite solid. One of the viewers was saying that maybe what I should have done is tried this in the hull, but I guess he didn't notice that that's why I had this wooden spacer, because when we tried it in the main hull, in order to get these torpedo tubes to line up with the openings in the hull, we had to put the spacer in, which, yes, it may have caused the parts to rub against the top of the overhead bulkhead here, but I don't think so. I think it's a case of I put the pipes maybe kind of in the wrong place. I'm not sure. Okay, this one here. I'm going to have to recompose for this. And maybe I should first figure out, oh, it wants to stay there all by itself. Look at that. I was going to say figure out how to hold it down, but it sort of sticks there. Although I think once I actually get the glue in place and the plastic starts to meld, it probably will slowly slump. So I'm going to have to come up with some idea here to hold it. An elastic band might be good, but an elastic band will be hard to get to hold it just right. or maybe not. Maybe I could use and put the elastic band on first, and get it lined up, and then use extra thin from the back side here. Just let it flow along. Once again, I'll think of something. Okay, I know you can't see it, but on the other side, I've got a block of wood wedged in just the right place to keep this so that it is vertical. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to adjust my helping hands, and so that I'll just put pressure down on here. Maybe I should have something on the end of the alligator clip so that it doesn't want to slip. Mind you, that's pretty good. The idea is so that the weight of this part right here doesn't get it to slump over. Right now it's stuck in the holes. I'll just move in a little bit here. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do, let me get my other glasses on again, and I might have to change the overhead light just a little bit so I can see in there, but that's going to spoil it for the camera. Some of you may have noticed that quite often in the morning when I have my opening and say welcome to Winnipeg thing, that the overhead lights, half of them are pointed in the other direction. Well, it's not always like that. Okay, now can we get this one to go down? Maybe we just need a little bit more here. I'm doing it from this side because this is the side that's not going to be seen. Okay, that peg should be going down into that hole. And this is slumping over on me. Okay, maybe if I hold it with my finger here. See, how does that look? Sorry to be getting my nose down here in your view. Well, I didn't want to come in from this side, but how's it doing there? Yeah, I think it's going down. Yeah, I think it's going down. And we'll just get the weight on here like that. And all right, I'm going to have to change the overhead light. Okay. Now I can see a little better here. Okay, I think if it dries like that, maybe I'll put these just a little bit so that the alligator clip is more over the center of this thing. Okay, let's let that dry overnight. So, yeah, we'll see you in the morning. Well, it is morning, and I would think that in all likelihood, this is about as strong as it's going to get. In fact, probably over time it will become brittle and it will not be as strong as it is right now. However, yeah, I'm going to have to be really careful here. We're getting to the place where I'm not sure how I want to pick this up. Okay, this is my block of wood that I was talking about to hold everything vertical. And save that for next time. Now, I think if I grab it underneath here and here, it should be all right. We should be able to just sort of wiggle it out of that. Well, maybe not. There we go. Okay. Now, there is something that I want to try and make clear. Apparently, I'm not making it clear about this thing right here. Yes, I fully realized that when this was underneath here and holding the back of the torpedo tube up, it also raised all the pipe work in there which caused it to bang onto the top of the overhead bulkhead. However, if I was to not have had that under there, then that would have meant that the front of the torpedo tubes would have been up 2 or 3 millimeters higher, and they would not have lined up with the openings that are in the front of the hull. And that's what I had wanted, because it just wouldn't look right if it looked like the torpedo was going to hit the opening as it came shooting out of the torpedo tube. Anyway, that's why I had that under there. I think that, but I'm not sure, I may have slightly misplaced this tube when I was putting it on. Okay, maybe I should ask this. There are other people that have already made this model. And in yours, do you remember, did you have the torpedo tube, the back of the torpedo tube here where I'm touching, actually resting on the deck? Maybe you did. Maybe I am wrong. I don't know. However, it is what it is. I've got the deck. I've got the overhead bulkhead down now in place. It didn't have to be warped or bent or anything to fit. It went really nice. I've also got these now so that they are going to line up with the openings in the main hull. My plan is still to have at least one torpedo partially out and hopefully coming through one of those openings. Now, this probably this one here. This one here, you can just see the beginning of it. If you remember, we took a torpedo and we cut it in half, and we got the one end here, and I think the other end. Oh, we never used it because this is closed up. But you can see there's 2 in the back there. I'm hoping to have those 2 with the torpedo propellers sort of sticking out where you can see them. Even though that probably wouldn't be natural in real life. Okay, let's quit handling this thing here, or I'm going to end up probably breaking it. There is not too much more. In fact, there is nothing more I can do other than touching up, and I don't want to do the touch-ups with the paint until after I get my wires glued down. We'll talk about that when we get to it. You know, I think that what we're going to want to do now is we are probably going to want to move on to step 18 and get some of our parts ready. And when the wire comes, then we'll go back to 17. So we are not officially completely done here. We will be when all the LEDs are in place and there's little, 24-inch. Don't ask me how many millimeters that is of lead attached to each one. Okay, enough rambling here. Enough rambling. we are almost done here. I think we did pretty good. I'm going to take this now and put it in a safe place. Okay, some people might be wondering, how is old Ron making out with his bike box? Well, it's coming along, but I'm sort of at a bit of a standstill right now. You remember I was talking about I knew what the wheelbase was, and I drew the size of the motorcycle out based on the fact that it had a 60-inch wheelbase. I think it's 59 and 9/10 or something like that. So that's what this red line is from axle to axle. But the thing is, I'm not 100% sure, going by this photograph, if I've got it sized right. And this profile photograph is probably pretty close. Let's see if I can change it here. Okay, now the entire bike is you can see it from the back of the rear fender. Like, I don't think that the license plate hangs down and sticks out any further back. I think that this part right here, I think that is the very tail end, you might say. Now you can see that this fender is not going to need fender extensions. The mud is going to go throwing up behind me. Now, I'm not planning on riding it in the rain. I can tell you that right now. Weather's bad, old Ron's staying home. Okay, so what I need is a measurement from right here, not the back wheel, that's no good to me, but right here to the front of the front tire. And I don't want to drive all the way out to Steinbach just for that. I'm hoping that I can get somebody at Bill's Cycle to measure it accurately from here to here. And the reason being is this bike box, I don't want to make it any bigger than I have to. In other words, I want to make it as small as possible from here to here. Because this roof is actually just a full sheet of plywood. Okay, and yeah, if I can bring this wall in just a little bit, I guess you call it a wall. This is where the door is going to go, and I'm going to try and wiggle the bike in there. It's going to be basically about 7.5 feet long, 4 feet wide, and I guess from here to here it'd be about 7 feet, 4 feet here roughly. I'll get the exact measurements to the millimeter as I'm building it. I mean, that's the whole idea of this. I want to cut all these pieces to the right length and angles and everything. So it's sort of like almost like assembling something from IKEA. IKEA doesn't have motorcycle boxes. Okay, yeah. So that's the latest on the bike or the bike box. And no, I was on Bill's Cycle website yesterday, and I noticed they have a bike for sale exactly like this one. And I'm wondering, did they get two in, or is mine up for sale? That'd be kind of disconcerting, wouldn't it? It gets sold out from under you. Well, I've already given them a sizable deposit on it, so I don't think they do that. They might have got two in. Or maybe they just forgot to put sold on mine when they put a picture up of it. Anyway, I'm not too worried. I'm pretty confident that Bill's Cycle is a bunch of decent people, so I don't think I need to worry about somebody walking in with $1 more than what I've offered and they get it, if you know what I mean. I don't think they do that kind of stuff. However, yeah, so if I can get somebody at Bill's to measure from the tip of that fender right there to the tip of the front wheel exactly, they can give it to me in either inches or in millimeters. I don't care. Okay, just a quick update on the bike box. Okay, it looks like everything we need is on the K sprue, the Z sprue, and one piece on the L sprue. Yeah, so as you can see, time has really slipped away on us here. Life got in the way of the model table this morning. I mean, how dare it? Yeah, that's life. Life is what happens to you while you're making other plans. We have not looked at the fenders. Guess we're going to have to do that in another episode somehow. Yeah, I'm going to start nipping these pieces off. Some of them are pretty obvious, like the K38 looks a lot like this one right here. Okay, then the 43, it looks a lot like one of these right here. All right, yeah, I'm gonna call her quits here for this afternoon. Thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we're gonna see you tomorrow.